Hello students, I am Dr. PC Cambodia, Associate Professor in the Department of English, BSR, Government Arts College, Alwar, Rajasthan. This video is for the students of MA Final English Literature, Paper First, Principles of Criticism. In this video, we discuss Imaginary Homeland, Chapter First by Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie is an Indian born diasporic writer who is settled in England, and he has got the citizenship of United States of America also. His book Imaginary Homeland won him Booker's Prize, and his another book Satanic Verses dragged him into a controversy with the entire Muslim community. Ayatollah Khomeini declared a fatwa against him. Fatwa means shoot at the very sight. When Ayatollah Khomeini was no more there, fatwa was not carried against the head of Salman Rushdie, and he started making public appearances. Of course, the police, Scotland Yard of England, provided him extraordinary police protection. His technique of writing is to mix various cultures and then to proceed further. This technique of writing is also utilized in his short stories. Salman Rushdie expresses his love for the Indian nation, Indian people, Indian music, and Indian cultural heritage. Whenever he gets time, he pays a visit to the Indian subcontinent. He belongs to Bombay, and when he visited his ancient parental house, he looked at the red tiles, bougainvillea creepers, cactus plants, and when he read the telephone directory, he came to know that his father's name was there, though it should have been removed much earlier. He tries to draw our attention towards non revision of the books of telephone directory, and then he describes his visits to the other Indian cities. Say, for example, once he was climbing up a footbridge over a local railway line in Delhi, and then he witnessed a signboard on which advertisement was written. The advertisement was like this: Esso puts a lion in your petrol tank. Then, when he looked at the other side, he noticed a warning, and that was drive carelessly, and then you are in hell. When he walks further, he listens to a street singer singing मेरा जूता है जापानी, ये पतलून इंग्लिशतानी, सिर पर टोपी लाल, एंड फिर भी दिल है हिंदुस्तानी. He shows his concern for the Indian folklore, music, dances. He also comes to Jaipur festival, that is literary festival, and he participates over there, expresses his opinion. Of course, the book stalls are there in order to give a promotion to the books written by these diasporic writers. The diasporic writers who visit from different countries with Salman Rushdie, they also sign their books purchased by the customers in order to give a promotion to their sales. But they have a complaint. They say that they describe Indian myth, folk, literature in their books, but the Indians do not like, and there is no market of their books. Here, I would like to tell my students that there are some diasporic writers who are creating an ugly image of India, and then they get a popularity over there in those countries where they have migrated. And one of such books is India Wounded Civilization by V.S. Naipaul. Of course, V.S. Naipaul is not there with us right now, but who would like to see the title like this, India Wounded Civilization? So Indians, they do not consider writers as individual. They consider writers in a group. And Salman Rushdie, though he may be praising India, he is touching Indian music, folk in so many of his books, but he cannot be separated from that group. Once Indians, they make a tarnished image about these diasporic writers, then they are not going to excuse them. So it is the reason that their books are not liked. Sometimes these diasporic writers are the victims in their own country. Since they become the victims, so they run away and they keep on spitting poison against their parental country. English is a language which is their compulsion. Of course, they are not very good to tackle English language. Their English language is really poor, but it is their helplessness. They keep on and on in order to take support of this language. Salman Rushdie in Imaginary Homeland, chapter 1st, discusses several issues such as Indo-Pak relationship, and these essays were written in between 1981 to 1993, a time period of 12 to 13 years. And at that time, Mrs. Indira Gandhi ruled the Indian nation. And Salman Rushdie's essays create a sort of controversy because he is picking up those issues which Indians generally do not like, say for example, increasing tension on the borders with the neighbors, or favoring a particular country indirectly. If this goes on, then Indians are unhappy with such essays. But anyway, Salman Rushdie is free to write whatever comes to his pen, and then he tries to develop a friendship with the Indians, saying that he loves Indian secularism. He is not a narrow-minded Muslim. He would like to move with each and every community. And he respects Indians. He respects people irrespective of religion. May they be Hindu, may they be Muslim, may they be Christians, or they may be Sikhs, or they may belong to any other religion. May it be Buddhism. So that way Salman Rushdie is a broad-minded writer. We praise the efforts of Salman Rushdie because he is an open-minded writer. and he wants to be highly friendly. And in his essay Imaginary Homeland, chapter 1st, he expresses the pain of a migrated writer. He says that whatever respect a person can command in his own country cannot be commanded in the diasporic country where he transplants. And he got several examples when he was insulted, being an Indian, though he is a prominent writer. And another examples are also quoted by him. When the technocrats move to the other countries from India, they are highly qualified, fit to be officers over there with their high degrees, but they are given the job of skilled labor. It happens because they come from the other countries. In the very beginning, such persons they go for limited time period, but they keep on extending their visa passports and other documents for a lengthy time period, and by the time they become Britons or regularized citizens of that country, but the people of that country do not like them. They have to live in ghettos, and they are to be looked down upon by the natural citizens of those countries. This way, Salman Rushdie explains the problems of those who are going from their own parental country to other countries in order to be writer or in order to be technocrat. Salman Rushdie explains his own reason for going to abroad. He says that whenever he saw the Europeans, the Britishers, roaming freely in Bombay, then he was fascinated to visit their country and to settle over there. The cricket matches were also a source of inspiration for him to move to the European countries, and he decided that he would settle in England. So he settled over there, but still he loves his own country and he would like to be a part and parcel, but he is well settled, so he pays attention to his life over there in abroad country. He says he is satisfied over there, but he does not forget his own country, his own culture, his own people. Thank you so much. We shall be taking some other topic from the syllabus of first paper, Principles of Criticism for MA Final English Literature paper first.